Foundation Course Kabbalah, Part 1, Lesson 2, Rabbi Michael ben Pesach Portnar. Everyone who keeps himself busy with his inner being, works with his inner being, is a spiritual Jew. None of us can come to the unity with the higher qualities as long one hasn't made corrections. All the names we see in the Bible as Moses, Abraham, etc., are special strengths. The whole Torah, the whole Old Testament writes about one soul. Abraham is a strength. Sarah is a strength. And what we see is the male strength and the female strength. And this strength you have to build up within yourself. No man can come to wholeness as long as he hasn't developed the female side within him. And it is the same for a woman. Only when both strengths are developed within one person, then we can say the righteousness will blossom as a palm tree. When a man wants to come to his own fulfillment, he has to develop his left side, the female side within him. And when he neglects his side, or this side, and only works with his manpower, in a way he still has shortcomings. Man has to develop both. This is the same for a woman. Only when one has developed both strengths within him or herself, one can come to fulfillment, wholeness. Only when one has brought the inner in development, only then we can say one is free from the animal desires. Only then we can say one has control about his/her personality. When man and woman are married, remember, this is only a relation from the outside, from the outer being. Of course, every one of us is in need of sex and food and drink, but this doesn't mean one has a relation. Through the connection with your husband, wife, you only see yourself. You see your right side, or you see your left side. But remember, the true relation lies with and in your inner. The true strength of the creation lies in the Malchut. Only the male and female aspects are the one existing in this world. There's no separation in the spiritual world. Become aware of it, and that we speak in Kabbalah only about the spiritual. Never, and remember, never do we speak about the physical body or about emotions. The body can be changed. The heart is pure physical. You can replace it, and an organ is pure physical. But the soul remains unchanged. The soul is not something physical, it is spiritual. We don't talk about this world. Of course, there is parallel with this world, and I have to use words of this world, but this doesn't mean I talk about this world. I can, for instance, talk about the Pope of Rome, but then I'm not talking about the man in person, the physical person, but about someone who has the power and leads this religion. Keep this in your mind every time you start reading. And there's another thing you always have to keep in your mind, and that is the question, why am I here? For knowledge? Absolutely not. We are sitting here together because we want to learn how to come in contact with the spiritual. The spiritual is the light shining and sparkles within us. What we call the material, earthly being is the outer being. And this is not a subject in the Kabbalah. And this is very important for you to remember and to understand. Only when you are prepared to make corrections within yourself, meaning to go the way not of the outer being, but to start to find the way to go within, then, and only then, can I give you something. I'm only guiding you to the inner being, but it has to be your wish too. But for it to come to your inner being, you have to penetrate all the layers of the outer being. Only within your inner being you will find the essence. This is the point where it takes place the development of the male and female in each one of us. Only when a person has brought this in balance, then this person is named a righteous person or a saint. Only within the inner you can develop the male and female. For to come in balance, you have to go to your inner being. There are 4 ways of communication. The first, the lowest is the aspect of receiving for the receiving. This means you want to receive no matter what happens, what the outcome is. I want to receive. For instance, you want something, doesn't matter what the thing is, what matters is you want to have it in your possession. Here we see theft, rape, etc. This is a pure animal desire, an animal form of egoism. The next phase is, I give but I want to receive. This is an aspect that also belongs to the outer being. There's a saying, I scratch your back and you scratch mine. This is not giving, this is making a deal. And become aware of it. It happens in the subtlest way. This is named the cultural egoism. I endure you, so now you have to endure me too. It is a childish attitude. As long a person is sitting in these 2 phases, he isn't ready for the Kabbalah. The following phase is the phase of giving for the giving. There has to be a wish in the heart. There has to be the knowledge, a knowing that everyone is only keeping up appearance. Once you have come to this point, then you have come to the beginning of the giving for the giving. This is the starting point of the correction, but it isn't the ultimate goal. I don't have the strength for to come to the 4th phase, the phase of to receive for to give. What do we mean by mentioning the name of the Creator? Who is the Lord? The Lord is the giving aspect, the giving strength. We don't know who the Lord himself is. We will never know. But what we do know is his manifestation. And that is the quality of the giving. His quality is the aspect of the absolute unselfishness. This quality is poured out in the universe. There's only the absolute unselfishness. And we're made of this quality, the quality of altruism. Somewhere deep inside of me, I have this quality too. But the contradiction is we are made only for to receive. In what manner we receive isn't important. The Lord only wants to give, and how we receive what he is giving to us is due to us. There is absolute no life when there is only the receiving. And the giving for to receive is a comedy, a lie. All the aspect of the giving we see in this world isn't the giving. It's the storytelling us we have to give. We have to give money, for instance, at Greenpeace or whatever authority is in need of money. We have to give for saving the world, but this is not the way for it to come to your correction. No religion, no religious person can come by way of giving, as we have described above. He, she can't come and won't come to correction. When we talk about the receiving for the giving, I receive and I want to give, meaning I see he is the one who gives, and the wish of the Creator is that I receive, then my giving is for the pleasure or to the pleasure the Creator. You know, when you receive something and you know you are pleasing the one who gives, this is also a form of giving. And this is unknown in this world. It's a gift from above, and for us, it is a precious present. This is to give for the sake of the light of correction, to sacrifice yourself in favor of the light, the original light of creation. This is the light of Chokmah, the giving and the light of Hasidim, the receiving. With every being there is a scattering of light in all kind of layers, and this complete scale of light we name Partzufim. In every person you can find this shining. In the deepest of the deepest there is a whole of this shining. You have to learn to experience the spiritual world. There's no understanding in the Kabbalah with your intellect, your head. You have to go beyond your understanding. And this is so contradictory in what we are doing, especially in the Western world. Here one is thought to receive honor. How more intellect, the greater the honor. And it is impossible to sacrifice the intellect, understanding beyond the intellect. This is a stumbling block. By reading this, there will be more understanding about this expression, to give up your intellect reasoning for the sake of the higher. Everything is within you, and there is no need for sacrificing yourself. What you sacrifice is only from the outer being. Everything is within you, and what you sacrifice is for the inner being. There is no need for to sacrifice animals. In the early days, man was very primitive. They were like children. They were very primitive in their thinking. They didn't know better. And now we know that all the sacrifice we are going to do is the sacrificing of the animal's strength, the lower strength within you. It wasn't possible for man in those days to see their inner being. This is the first generation that can see the inner being. In those days, their awareness was so small, their ego wasn't developed yet. Nowadays, there is an enormous desire for to receive the light. What do I need for to receive water? I need a barrel. It is the same with light. The light needs a receiver. A barrel is the emptiness within me. Through my love for myself, I receive emptiness. It is by way of the self-love. I can see the emptiness, and then I can see the despair, the deepest despair. And we need this, because only then we can see. What do you see? Everything becomes useless, unnecessary. Only then we can receive the light. Now we see life as bitter, sweet. But in the most inner place, we see the shining of the light, and that is the place of the inner being. The neutral zone. The zone wherein the good and evil can be felt in my outer being. Be aware the outer being isn't my physical body, not the skin, the bones, the emotions, etc. This has to do with the outer side of my soul. This is the part that we name the animal soul in man. The inner being is a divine soul. And between these both zones, in a way the word neutral isn't a good word, but between these both zones, there we see the zone of the man who can correct himself. So we have the outer being, the zone of correction, and the inner being. Only the outer being needs correction, the good and evil in him. In this, we see all our wishes, richness, power, and science. In this zone, we see the wishes of the greatest destroyer, but also from the greatest scientist. And this zone is in need of correction. And no, religion doesn't bring us to the correction of this zone. They stay at the inner side of the outer being, but it is still the outer being. We have to go through this zone too. We have to penetrate this zone of tradition, culture, etc., for to reach the inner being. And religion can't bring us to this point. It is still a story for children, and as long as you believe in religion, you believe in the story. And the story is for children, but you have to grow up. Remember, and come aware of it, religion stays at the inner side of the outer being. When you want to come to your fulfillment, wholeness, you have to learn Kabbalah, because in Kabbalah we learn how to go beyond our understanding, and not to go under our intellect, where we find the fundamentalist. When one is under this intellect, he isn't in contact with the spiritual. He doesn't work on himself. But he who comes to the border, he who is correcting himself, he who experiences the good and the bad, he has arrived at the point of awakening. We name this awakening the point in the heart. The Creator doesn't want lies. There is one way to come closer to the Creator, and that is by working at yourself. It is written in the book, The Gates of Salvation. When you give it yourself, at your inner being, the gates will be opened. Only by surrendering one can come in truth to the real peace. What you have to do is to sacrifice your outer being to come to your inner being. All the layers are within you. It is all yours, and it is your task to come to the experience of all these layers and to sacrifice. This is what we mean by surrendering, by working at yourself. It is you who has to learn to go beyond your understanding, beyond your intellect, when then we can see the way for the salvation. Remember, the Creator doesn't interfere with the outer being. He doesn't listen to your outer being, the animal side of man. You have to come to the absolute emptiness, to the point of the deepest despair, the point you can't see the way out, and there's no chance, no power left in your life, because then, and only then, one start to search. And in this generation, we are the pioneers who prepare the way that leads to the inner being. The book of Zohar is the Torah written in the language of the spiritual world. The Zohar is the commentary of the Torah, or on the Torah. Everything is written in these books, in the language of the spiritual world, the laws of the universe. And these books are telling us that the sacrificing only concerns the inner being. You have to learn to give from your inner being. There is no other way of giving. What we are doing, what we call giving, is only from the outer being. Don't imagine that you have something to give. It is you who has to come to the conviction, not only that you have to feel it, that there is nothing you can give, and only then you can feel the victory. As long as there is still the smallest point of conviction you have something to give, you are lost. You have to work at yourself first, meaning to give at your inner being. This is what we mean by sacrificing the outer soul, the animal soul. And each one of us has to come to this experience, because only then the wish of the outer being becomes transparent.